A young girl named Nima experiences a severe fall, striking her head on the floor, which immobilizes her. Overwhelmed by the fear of death, she senses her soul departing from her body. In her final thoughts, she mourns the brevity of her life and the fact that she never bid farewell to her parents. In her despair, she vehemently protests her untimely demise. Suddenly, her environment transforms, and she encounters a man dressed in white who reveals himself to be a god. He informs Nima that while her lifespan is predetermined, he offers her a chance to alter the manner of her death if she agrees to assist him with a certain task. Despite her frustration, Nima shares her simple desire to interact with fluffy creatures, which has always brought her comfort. The god understands and bestows upon her special powers, promising that in her next life, she will have the ability to bond with beasts and monsters, though not humans. Before she can object, Nima finds herself reborn in a new world within the O family, now named Nef, but affectionately called Na by her siblings. Nima struggles to grasp the reality of her reincarnation into Laria, a prominent city on one of Ellen's 3 continents. She is welcomed warmly by her family, including her charming brother Ralph and lively sister Kara. Her life now revolves around enjoying her family's affection, indulging in sleep, and cherishing moments with fluffy animals, fulfilling her past life's wishes. One day, while accompanying her mother to the royal palace due to a work commitment, Ma meets the prince and inadvertently makes a poor first impression. However, she later encounters King Rusgash and, upon a formal introduction, leaves a positive impression, which leads to an invitation to return and play with the prince's pet, the sky tiger named Lars. Despite her mother's concern, Nima is drawn to the sky tiger and quickly forms a bond, a testament to her unique powers. Her mother, upon realizing Nima's ability, instructs her to promise to harness her elemental powers responsibly. Her adventures at the royal palace, alongside her siblings' academic pursuits, mark the beginning of a life filled with magic. Witnessing her sister in a perilous situation, Nima urges her to flee, but her sister chooses to confront the holy beast instead. In a swift reaction, Nima dashes to the training field and, just before plummeting to the ground, an unidentified magical force cushions her fall. She then approaches the fire dragon, pleading with the onlookers to withhold their attacks. The fire dragon, puzzled by Nima's presence in such a dangerous setting, engages in a conversation with her. He reveals that his presence is due to a forceful summoning and questions why he should show mercy to those who have harmed him. Nima, empathizing with the dragon, explains that despite his formidable defenses and magical prowess, he is susceptible to injury in battle, a thought she finds unbearable. She expresses a gentle wish to touch his scales, which surprises the dragon, as she shows no fear. Moved by her guileless courage, the dragon lowers himself to allow her to touch him. As the guards prepare to intervene, fearing for Nima's safety, the prince intercedes, signaling that Nima has a plan. Touching the dragon, Nima is taken aback to find his scales cool and smooth, contrary to her expectations of heat. The dragon, touched by her boldness and kindness, promises to acknowledge her as his master when she matures. He gives her an orb, explaining that it will serve as a link between them. Realizing the challenges of keeping the orb, he informs her that she can alter its form. After some thought, Nima transforms it into a teddy bear, which the dragon explains will connect them mentally and possibly allow her to wield his magic. Understanding the significance of Nima's bond with the dragon, her parents discuss placing her under guard to ensure her safety. The high priest arrives, proposing to take Nima under his guardianship to train her as a holy maiden. Her father, wary of the high priest's intentions to possibly manipulate her, staunchly refuses, viewing the proposal as demeaning to his daughter. Amidst this, the high priest challenges the legitimacy of Nima's parentage, casting doubts and inciting conflict. Meanwhile, the king, holding Nima, grants her unrestricted access to the palace, allowing her freedom to explore. Subsequently, the prince, amused by Nima's company, leads her to meet other fluffy creatures within the palace. During this time, Gwyn, a high-ranking officer of the royal guard, is introduced to Nima by the prince, who assures her of Gwyn's protection in his absence. Despite her initial reservations, the prince instructs Gwyn to escort Nima to the dragon stables, a decision that surprises and concerns Gwyn due to the inherent dangers. As Nima moves with the guards, she internally questions the need for their protection, but resolves to proceed for the sake of meeting more fluffy creatures. Upon arriving, she hopes to pat a dragon's head, but anticipates that Dan, the stable's head, might object. Unexpectedly, a red beam emanates from her body, attracting the dragon's attention and causing them to approach her. This unprecedented reaction leaves Dan and the others on high alert. Dan escorts Nima away, yet their departure is halted by the chief dragon. Nima steps up, addresses the dragon as Gizzle, and explains that she can communicate with them thanks to Saul's orb. She expresses her desire to play with the dragons, which Dan supports. Gizzle then lowers himself, allowing Nima to mount him, and swiftly ascends into the sky, astonishing Dan and the others. While Gizzle initially perceives Nima as human, he senses the fire dragon's orb and realizes she has not formed a pact with it. Nima discloses that the orb was a gift from the dragon itself, enabling her to converse with other dragons. She is warmly received by the dragons as a maiden dragon. Nima crafts a floral wreath for a young dragon, who opts to eat it instead. She then playfully chases him, joined by other young dragons in what they perceive as a game. As Nima enjoys her interactions, Dan and Gwyn discuss her situation. Dan, familiar with Gizzle's nature, notes that Gizzle, as the dragon leader, typically does not allow riders, but Gwyn corrects him, revealing that Nima had previously saved the kingdom from a fire dragon. Nima returns later with Lars and another dragon, to everyone's astonishment. Dan ponders over Nima's ability to command holy beasts and dragons, suspecting she is no ordinary girl.